in homage to my man, DMX, man, he struggled. And so those of y'all who saw him a few years ago when he came into Nashville, there's a viral video of him hanging out over by Tennessee State, and a lady almost caused an accident when she busted a U-turn and got out of the car and seen DMX, and some of y'all was like, was that DMX or not? Because, when you get to your 40s and your 50s, you don't look like you looked in your 20s, There was a time in my 20s I could eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts at 11:55 p.m. with a quart of soy milk, go to sleep, get up in the morning, still have a six-pack. Never worried about that. When you start crossing into the 30s and the 40s, things change. So it was DMX. He was a little stout, a little bit older. He'd been struggling with some things, but she was so excited to see Brother DMX, and because of the things that he brought to her life, this essence and this energy. So today, to Brother Dark Man X, I just want to have the message center around this energy, not because DMX is some perfect human being. DMX went through hell. His debut album was It's Dark and Hell is Hot. This brother was struggling. He wasn't looked at as some model for spiritual success, but what connected him was his ability to be honest with himself and others. And while we're going to miss that energy, we also are going to miss that authenticity. And in a song that he did, a little known song, he did a duet song with the great Regina Bell. It's a song called Angel. Y'all look it up after service. But for right now, I took an excerpt for today's meditation, and it's on the screen. You gave us power in your words. You gave us power in our words. So I think before I speak. And that way, when I speak, they know I'm here to teach. Can't tell them nothing wrong because I love them too much. I reach a lot of people, and Lord, I'm loving the touch. But deep inside, I've got something that's working against everything I know is right. What I know makes sense. That's when you must fight harder than you've ever fought before. Because what you got going inside you is a war between good and evil. Be careful of those who want to be you. They smile, but are not really happy when they see you. Be careful of the ones that always want to get you high, because when the time comes, that one will let you die. Listen to me. I'm here, but I can only help you if you want me to help. What do you want for yourself? Take a deep breath on that last line. What do you want for yourself? Spirit is asking you, what do you want for yourself today? Because the people out there who encourage you to be drawn in different spaces, the ones who want to get you high on the treasures of the world, those are the ones who will watch you die. In these prophetic words, he asked that question, what are you willing to do for yourself? I'm asking you today, what are you willing to do for yourself? I want you to do 4 things. 4 things. I want you to stop, drop, shut them down, and open up shop. Oh, no, that's how Rough Riders roll. So see, we all recognize DMX in there. We want to stop, drop, shut them down, and open up shop. But see, we got to do that in a spiritual sense today. So Spirit is encouraging you today that if you want to see the greatest things that were born for you, the things that you agreed to do when you were in the heavenly zone, thinking about coming through that portal of your mother's womb and to be born into this world only to forget your purpose and to strive to find it again in spaces like this. This is how you align yourself with that memory. The first thing you got to do is stop. Just stop. You ever had somebody running on in your ears and they were just going on and they weren't even in your conversation, but they were next to you at a table and they just couldn't stop talking about everything and everything that was in the world, and they knew everything about every subject, and you just wanted to say, stop. You ever had your kids who you absolutely love driving you nuts by doing things that don't make sense, drinking up all of the milk but leaving just one swallow, going to the cereal box and leaving one cornflake, going through the Triscuit, I'm speaking my own life, going through the Triscuit box, and you get up for a late night snack and there's one Triscuit in an entire box and you just say, stop. You ever had to tell yourself to stop? Spiritually, the first thing you want to do if you want to manifest your best self is you've got to stop. Stop filling your mind with the negative thoughts that keep telling you what you cannot do. Because if you don't stop them, if you don't arrest them, if you don't put them in a state of stasis where they can be disposed of, they are going to eat you alive from the inside. There's an ancient wisdom concept called the crossroads. In Kemetic language, it's the space of Sebek. It's the space of Anpu. It is the space in the Yoruba concept of Elegba or Elegba, Papa Belegba, Eshu. This is the energy of choice. Anytime there is a crossroads in your life, that is an intersection of choice. When you become adults, I'm not talking about to the little kids here, but you're going to teach this to the little kids. When you become an adult, when you reach a place of crossroads, a crossroads is any space in your life where you get to make a decision. When you get old enough and mature enough, you know what is lying on the left. You know what is lying on the right. You know if you call that person back that always drags you into the muck and mire, you're going to look up and you're going to feel like an idiot when it's all done. Aren't you old enough to know that? And you also know that when you operate in your highest self, things come to you in alignment with that high vibration. That's when you come to the crossroads and you are standing there. Well, the reason you're standing at the crossroads making a decision is the same reason that you're standing at a crossroads when you come to your neighborhood and when you're driving to where you got to go today. What is at the crossroads? What is at the intersection? A stop sign. The stop sign is there so that you can make a correct choice, not only for your own places you are going, but for the safety of yourself and others, to make sure that when you get to the intersection, you're making the choice that you want to make. So stop today making the choice to fill your mind with what you cannot do. Stop. Drop the ego. Drop the ego. The ego is an external based power source. The ego makes you seek likes. The ego makes you seek followers. The ego makes you seek the brand. And I know we live in a space right now where we say, well, Rev, I got to work on my brand. I got to get my brand out there. Do not let your brand keep you away from your bond with spirit. You can seek a brand with human beings that will be directly in opposition to your bond with spirit. Seek the bond to undergird the brand, because the bond comes from a knowledge of self and not a knowledge of ego. When you feed the ego, it brings self-destruction. When you pour into the self, it breeds ego deconstruction. See, when you pour into yourself, you no longer need your ego. You don't care if people think you go to a weird church. You don't care if people think that sage smells funny and I don't like it in my house and that's demonic. You don't think about that stuff anymore, because guess what? You're getting what you get in your spiritual food, and you weren't getting anything when you were sitting in a space where you were being told that you were evil and something was wrong with you and that you were born broken, and it contradicted everything else that were telling you were made in the image and likeness of God. So what? I gotta get myself in order. I got to deal with pouring into me. I got to deal with what I was supposed to do. So I'm dropping the ego. I'm embracing the self. The ego is the outer. The self is the inner. Stop, drop, shut them down. Shut down the nouns. Y'all repeat after me. Shut down the nouns. Shut down the nouns. We get these t-shirts up. That's going to be one of my isms. Shut down the nouns. Shut down the people, places, things, and ideas that are not supporting your spiritual journey. Shut down the people, places, things, and ideas that are not supporting your spiritual journey. We had a comment earlier today in the stream. We're having to readjust our friend circle. We're having to decide who can go on this journey with me and who cannot. Guess what they call that? They call that shutting it down. Shutting down is having the boundaries that you need. To say, look, I don't have the time to walk with you down that journey anymore. It's all right. I love you. And as happy and as centered as I think I am, sometimes I can look back in my life where people had to shut me down. And people had to say, look, we were close. We had this relationship, but I can't be in this circle anymore. So I'm sorry. I have to move on. And I had to be able to say, you know what? Get over my ego, embrace myself and say, if it's good for you and it's great for you, then I will support you, because I have to be able to do the same thing. Everybody that was with you up to this point ain't meant to go with you going forward. And people will come to understand that. And even if they don't, your ego will no longer have a need to please them. You will be focusing instead on your connection to spirit that allows you to walk in a space where you can draw some boundaries, where you can drop those nouns, where you can say, I am shutting down the nouns. And when you shut down the nouns, the next thing you do is you shut down the bad habits that are producing the results that you are seeing in your life right now. Take a deep breath. Exhale to release. You shut down the bad habits. You shut down the bad habits. I'm not judging and saying, I'm not going to get the whip out like you used to, and somebody talking about lies and fornicators and all that. No. If you have committed to living your biggest dreams and you find yourself sleeping in the bed all day instead of getting up out of that bed and working bit by bit, then that is a bad habit that you got to break. If you said that you were making a commitment to stop the negativity in your mind, if you said that you have made a commitment to drop those people, places, and things and to shut down the negative energy in your world, and you find yourself after today pouring into negative energy, then that's when you got to shut it down. Catch yourself in those habits. 21 days creates a permanent habit. Can you go 21 days of waking up in the morning and looking in your own eyes and telling yourself how valuable you are, how powerful you are, how awesome you are, how amazing you are? I dare you this week. Give me 7. You can't give me 21, give me 7 days. Get up in the morning and find the good words about yourself. If you've got a partner or a friend in your space, give them the same words back and forth and amplify, because I'm going to tell you, when you do that, you are shutting down the negative and blocking it, giving it an opportunity, not giving it an opportunity to take root in your life. Because a habit is a seed that is planted, and no tree that is good can produce bad fruit, and no bad tree can produce good fruit. You know a tree by the fruit it bears. Bear fruit in your life. So when you stop, when you drop, when you shut them down, after you get to that point, guess what you got to do? Open up shop, baby. You got to open up the shop. You got to open up the shop. Opening up shop is opening yourself to opportunities. You're no longer afraid when you open up. It's opening up to love. You're not chasing love. You're not saying, God, send me somebody that's going to love me. No, you're saying instead, I am healthy, I am whole, I am open to the universe sending me a like vibration. Oh, what an adjustment. Oh, what an adjustment. Oh, what a way to open up shop. Open up shop is seizing every opportunity, because when you stop, when you drop, when you shut it down, what you're doing is you're preparing yourself. You're getting yourself in position to open up in a brand new you. But guess what? This is a secret. This is not a secret to everybody who understands getting in touch with themselves, but there is a secret here. And the secret is that brand new you that is opening up shop. That is the you that came to this earth to do what they were supposed to do and just forgot until this moment right now. So it's time for you to open up shop. And when you open up shop, you seize the opportunity because you're prepared. Sister Karen, you opening up shop on Wednesday when you go in that interview, because guess what? You are prepared for the opportunity. Your life experience uniquely gifted you to walk through that door. Sister Denise, when you stand on that sideline and you're coaching men in an environment where women aren't supposed to be coaching men, the reason why you're winning is because you have been prepared and you're ready to open up shop when that whistle goes off in a game. I'm telling you right now, Sister Alicia, when your plays open and they see them on Broadway and people say, oh my gosh, what has happened? That's opening night. She's opening up shop based on the years of experience. Every Sunday morning when Sister Kenitha stands up in this space and sends these vibrations out into the universe with her voice, she is opening up shop for y'all. When Brother Reggie sits there on his keyboard, he's sitting there talking to you on the strings. He ain't talking because he picked up that guitar yesterday. When you hear those strings, you hear the vibration of a lifetime of creativity being poured into a space where he blocked anything that said he couldn't do and taught it to others and shared with others. So when he sits in that chair, he's opening up shop. He's opening up shop. I'm sitting down because I got to. Because I got to open up shop, y'all. I got to open up shop. But I'm telling you, when all of our people, when our activists out there, when our people who are out there, I love seeing our people out there. I see our people with doctorates. I know Dr. Michaela Bethune, Dr. Patty Cheek. I know what you had to go through to get those degrees. I know what you had to go. You had to sit down and open up shop. And sometimes you had to open up shop on folks who were trying to stop, drop, and block you. But guess what? You succeeded. When you're activating in the community, when you're out there bringing your unique voice, you opening up shop. And you're not thinking about making excuses either. You can't make excuses. Earl Simmons didn't make an excuse. Earl Simmons, DMX, named after a DMX machine, one of the prized beatbox machines of the early days of hip-hop in the early 80s. I'm first generation hip-hop, I can say that. I remember that machine. He named himself after that because he started out beatboxing. He started out that way because his flow was akin to a rough LL Cool J. He didn't have the raspiness in his voice. He was kind of an edgier LL Cool J type guy. But they signed him to a record deal, and the record deal failed, y'all. So he started doing mixtapes. He started doing mixtapes and had an opportunity to be signed to a major label. But while he was I can tell this. By the time he was getting ready to be signed to this major label, true story, 1997, he ran into a cat named Irv Gotti, who was a producer. And he went to the major label. He said, hey, I got this hot new act. And his name is DMX. But by that time, in going through the transmogrification of going from imitating a beatbox to getting your own voice, he decided to deal with what he perceived to be his demons and changed his name from a likeness of a beatbox DMX to a word that was an acronym that stood for Dark Man X. So Dark Man X had an opportunity to come and audition his flow in a booth. There was only one problem. Old young DMX been doing stick-ups, and he had his jaw broken. His jaw was broken, and Irv Gotti came to him, and he was in a stick-up and got his jaw broken and had his mouth wired shut. So when they were waiting on him in the studio, Irv Gotti called the label and said, hey, look, we might have to rearrange. And DMX said, no, don't rearrange it. I've trained myself to rap through the wires. He said, are you sure? He said, I trained myself to rap through the wires. He took him in the studio. Young DMX in front of the label greats. Ja Rule was there. Ja Rule said it was nothing he's never seen before in his life. Through a wired jaw, DMX with his newly gruff voice began to speak, to spit, and to flow. The entire studio got quiet. People stood to their feet, and Cohen stood up. One of the producers stood up and said, stop. Somebody just stop him. DMX is the man. And that's where the legend began that produced his first album and put him in that position. Look, sometimes you got to learn to rap through the wires. I don't care if the opportunity has constrained you. So what? You got to rap through the wires. I don't care if your circumstances determine that you should not be successful. You got to speak your truth through a locked jaw sometime. But Spirit is with you. When you are walking in your purpose, you don't care. You see an opportunity, you show up for it. And even if you got to rap through the wires, baby, you got to speak your voice. You got to project who you are. You got to stand in who you are. And when you stand in who you are, you shine. You shine like you've never shone before. This is the moment for you. Shine through the wired jaw. Shine through the broken relationship. Shine through the guilt that you put on yourself. Stop. Drop. Shut them down. Open up shop. Spirit is here with you today. Spirit is in love with you today. The ancestors are all surrounding you today. You're standing on their shoulders and they're lifting your feet up even higher. You got it made today. Everything is going your way. This is the year of alignment. This is the day of nurturing. This is your moment. Everything else is gone. Walk in the light, walk in the love, and be yourself. And so it is. Amen and Ashe. Open yourself in this moment, y'all. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, put your hands over your heart. Deep breath in and out. And Spirit, we seal this energy today as a corporate body, the Infinity Fellowship. We thank you for those who tuned in. We thank you for those who felt that they stumbled into this space. We know that they are in alignment today. So as we stop the self-defeating thoughts, as we drop those things that no longer serve us, and as we drop into our own zone, as we shut down the negative energies and draw the boundaries we need to preserve our spirituality, as we practice our spirit, we practice it today. We practice our 3 levels of mind, body, and spirit. We embrace our individual practice. We embrace our family practice. And today, with Infinity, we embrace our community practice. We reinforce on all levels that today we are proclaiming that we have opened up shop. We are no longer tied to the negative. We are no longer thinking that we cannot fail. We are programming in our mindset right now. In this breath, we are programming goodness, strength, and your divine power. Inhale here. Exhale and release it. We bask in this glory. We sit in this love. And we thank you for your presence in this space today. And as we close this fellowship, we thank you for your divine presence today. We thank you for the energy of the cosmos and the ancestors. We thank you for your presence. And as we close this fellowship today, our hearts remain open with you ever presence there. For these things and other things we cannot put into words, we simply say, we operate in gratitude. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe.